Yo, it's Friday night, 9 p.m. sharp. You know what time it is.
Narcocop and Timmy T hitting you with that Lambo energy.
He's Mike by name, but the streets call Narcocop. Used to bust dealers, now he's busting long shots. Retired badge, now he's bad with the bets. Octagon fiend, cashing slips, no regrets. Friday night fight, Seki poured on ice. Lambo Plays Podcast, breaking down the price. Got parlays, KO, subs in round 3. Split decision magic, cash it like a G. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KO's a B round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big LFG. Tim Troiano, lotion in hand. Tennis coach by day, fight fan of the land. Watching WMMA, yeah, you know the drill. Playing with himself, just joking, but still. Impressions fly, Katona in the house. Roses Jr. squeaking, Tim's loud like a mouse. Cornholio vibes, he's stealing the show. Narcos like bruh, but they still go toe to toe. Round 2 chaos, round 3 gold. Split decisions, bets unfold. Side case sipping, parlays lit. Lambo energy, never quit. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KOSOB round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big LFG. Narcocop, Timmy T, Friday nights, Lambo Plays Podcast. Where long shots live large and splits hit harder. We out. We out. We out.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Narcocop MMA. This is the Lambo Plays Podcast, episode 183 for UFC Sacramento. It is Gregory Rodrigues versus Fluffy Hernandez in the 5-round main event, and a very, very good main event here for a fight night card. I like the card overall. I think it's a pretty well put together card. I know there's some late fights and stuff like that, but there's some very good matchups. There is a couple of squash matchups, we call them. But yeah, Brandon unfortunately could not be here with me today. Last second, something happened. I was scrambling like fucking crazy to try to get people to come on. And man, not only did I get you guys one, but I got you two incredible guys to come on the show last second too. So man, I honestly feel like shit asking people that late because people have shit to do. And it just feels wrong at times, but I couldn't do the show, honestly. I don't want to do it alone. So I brought in two of the sharpest people out there on top of everything. So let me first introduce my first guest here that came through for me yet again. It is my man, Brady, DFS by the numbers. I appreciate you, my man. I told you in the back, thank you so much, and I'm very sorry for this late notice.
No problem. As long as you don't ask me next week, because UFC Shanghai looks rough. But this week, I'm fine with coming on, man. Anytime you need me, hit me up. The only reason I don't like doing the show is because I like listening to it while I do my graphics and stuff. But other than that, I like being on and looking forward to the card, man.
You were very close to hitting your Lambo Parlay last week.
I
by the
know.
way.
Yeah.
And fucking, you know who fucked it up.
Yep.
I'm not even going to say his name.
Don't say his name ever.
Did he pull his pants down in the middle of the cage afterwards and take a big dump?
He did. He took a dump right on me. I mean, that was terrible, dude.
Yeah. All right. My other guest here, another late second replacement and a very good friend of mine, a guy that hasn't, I think, been on the show for a while, though. But I'm happy that he is back, and I appreciate him for taking this on short notice. This is a 1 day short notice replacement, like a UFC fighter would come in. And so My man, Liam, what is up? Thank you for joining us here today. So we got 3 of us here today. Liam, again, thank you very much. I'm very sorry about the late notice. I'm sure there's a lot of people in my Discord when I ask them, they're like, Liam, Brady, the names are repetitive. It's always you guys, and everybody loves you. So thank you very much, Liam, for joining us here today.
My pleasure. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's the way we do it over here. So appreciate the invite, my brother. It's always a pleasure. And Brady, always a pleasure to chat up these fights with you as well. So hopefully we can find some winners for the people and, find some winners for ourselves as well.
Exactly. Let me go over quickly to my chat. Shout out my chat. Elijah Juan, let's effing go. Ozzy, hey, Narco, been loving your community and the money you've made me so far. Thanks for giving us the tribe of Olivas the chance to try it out. I appreciate you, my man. Thank you. What's up, Mushroom? No, Brandon's not here. That must have been a comment way earlier he posted. Andy G, rumor has it that Tim has been stranded at the airport wandering around for 3 weeks. It sure feels that way. Tim's been gone the last 2 weeks, but no, he had something to do with his tennis thing. So Tim won't be here. Probably be here next week. Double Flush, what's up? Just hit the plus 600 dog in the Discord. Absolutely. Jackie Blaine, Narco, leave us on TV. Nope, Oliva's not here. Oreo, what is up? Who else do we have here? Rude One, how are you doing? Cole Stein in the house. Tim DePetris, Narco, the only one who shows up to work. No, we got 2 other great people that actually showed up here for voluntary work, I would call it. Not even their time to be here, but they gave me their time, so I appreciate them. Cat Simulator, this should be a fun one. Love a lot of big live dogs on this card. I will say one thing. After last week, be careful. Like people, there's going to be a card where a bunch of dogs hit, and then the following week, everybody wants to chase dogs again. So you got to be careful with that. It doesn't mean it can't happen. I'm just saying, just be careful chasing a lot of dogs. William Robbins, what's up? Bloom Dog, it's a wild parade, guys. It's absolutely a wild parade. Chronic Combat, let's effing go, Narco. Let's effing go, my man. What else do we have here? We got a bunch of people in here. Anyway, shout out to everybody. I don't want to name all of you, but I appreciate every one of you that's in here commenting and doing all that good stuff. So thank you very much. With that being said, let's start out. First fight of the night, and it is in the women's strawweight division. Let me take this out first. Sorry, guys. I'm not as good as Brady with these comments. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 8-5 Elise Reed versus the 7-1 Chanel Dyer. Dyer minus 750. Reed plus 534. Brady, you can kick us off here.
Yeah, this is frustrating for me because I love fading Elise Reed. I love it. It's like a fetish of mine. It's like a weird fetish. I love fading Elise Reed, man. I love betting against her. I like betting finish props against her. Submission prop, anything. I love betting against Elise Reed, but come on, guy. Chanel Dyer's minus 800. What am I supposed to do with that? Chanel Dyer is minus 180 to win inside the distance. This is a strawweight fight at the end of the day. So, as much as I love to fade Elise Reed, it's my favorite thing to do. It's like, what am I supposed to do here? So I'm not betting on this fight. But as far as a Lambo, I don't hate Chanel Dyer to win by KO in rounds 2 or rounds 3 at plus 330. You would hope for a much better number for, again, a strawweight fight. But, I think Dyer is going to be the much better striker. I was surprised to see how much bigger Dyer was at the face-offs. So I kind of think she's going to take her time a little bit and maybe put it on Reed as the fight goes on, maybe land a head kick, maybe put it on her in 2 or 3. So I'll take Chanel Dyer 2 or 3 KO at plus 330. Not the best number, but I think it is live. Elise Reed's been finishing all 5 of her losses. Not the best durability, not the best cardio, not the best striking defense. So I think Dyer handles her. It's annoying how juiced the lines are for this fight.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But Liam, you got anything you see here? I
have something a little bit out of the box here.
I know it.
Yeah, a little bit out of the box. And I'll explain my thought process pretty briefly here, but I saw Elise Reed by decision only is plus 410. And if you look at like DraftKings by comparison. They've got plus 330 on the same number. So they're kind of agreeing with me. It should be a little bit lower. And just when I look at this fight and how it plays out, right? How does Chanel Dyer cover this price? She goes out there and knocks out Elise Reed, right? That's her stated goal. That's how she fights. Honestly, I don't think much of her as a grappler. I think Elise Reed is a very physically strong woman. She's from Sacramento. She's going back home to fight. If there's going to be a vocal, cheering section, I think maybe Elise Reed gets that in a small environment type of thing, early prelim, and it's like dedicated fans only. She's from the area. So I think when you look at that, her military background, these certain little things that can get the crowd behind you, and then she's fighting a foreigner. Chanel Dyer looked great last time out in London. Now she's got to come to the United States for this fight. So I just think there's a couple more variables for Dyer here. I think she can go out there and knock out Elise Reed. But I think if Elise Reed is smart, she comes out here and tries to cage push her, tries to take her down, because I don't know that Chanel Dyer is very good on the ground. I think that's still yet to be proven. She's tried a bunch of takedowns that all failed. When you look at her fights on the regional scene, she's 2-1 career to the decision. She has a split decision win versus a pretty abysmal fighter, 3-4 career. So I just feel like Chanel Dyer, when it looks good, it looks so good. She goes out there, cleans somebody up, knocks them out. But it's like, have we not seen Elise Reed do this before? Melissa Martinez is an example, went out there minus 175 favorite. Everybody thought she was going to win, I think myself included at the time, but it was just like Elise Reed goes out there, makes it a little grimy, honestly almost knocked her out on the first punch of the fight, if anybody remembers that. So I feel like Elise Reed has no finishing instincts, but she has found ways to win decisions 6-0 throughout her career. So that's all I got to say. I think it's a long shot for a reason, but yeah, if you like the simple play, Dyer KO plus 130. Mike said, plus money's the cutoff. So that I think is like, if you just want to go to the Dyer side, you're not interested in anything on Reed. I think that's the way you go. And then you have all the rounds for it to cash. But then I think on the other side, Elise Reed, how does she win fights? Managing decisions, making it close, making it grimy. And I think she could do that potentially. So that's why I think the decision only is the way to click her.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we're in 2026 and Chanel Dyer's minus 750. Like, what the fuck's going on? I watched this girl. Okay, she's a decent striker. I don't think she has much power in her hands, to be honest. I think most of the power is in her kicks, stuff like that. She went out there and she knocked out Ravina Oliveira. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, we just saw Ravina Oliveira just absolutely get fucking destroyed. Like, who cares? She knocked out Ravina Oliveira, and she knocked her out, by the way, with a knee in the clinch. Like, she landed a big knee, crumbled her, and then followed up, right? Like, but my thing is, like, the only real fighter she faced is Carol Foro. And listen, she came back in round 3. And I said this to the guys in Discord. I'm like, yeah, she came back after taking a beating. But she came back only because Carol Foro got tired of beating on her, dude. Like, she beat the shit out of her for 2 rounds and literally gassed in round 3. She was fucking tired. And, I'm going to give Dyer credit for surviving that, like, punishment. She was hurt multiple times. And I'm not saying Elise Reed is going to be able to hurt her. I don't even think she's going to hurt her, honestly, because Elise Reed really doesn't have much power either. But if you watch, like, the last fight, even Denise Gomes' fight, right? In the beginning of that fight, the first, like, minute or whatever, Elise Reed was doing well. She was landing on her calf kick, backing her up, and then she got caught with a big shot. But, like, you look at that, and she got knocked out there, but fucking Denise Gomes is a very hard hitter for WMMA, right? Her hands are heavy for WMMA. So I looked at this fight and I saw the over 1.5 at one point at minus 150. And I'm like, hold on a second. How is a women's strawweight fight 1.5 at minus 150? I've honestly hardly ever seen that. And they're making like Chanel Dyer's like some killer. It just amazes me, the price. I get that Elise Reed's been finished in all of her losses, I believe, right? But not all of them are like instant finishes. She's going past the 1.5 mark on most of them, so I think Dyer, honestly, decision is live. I do think she can she's the thing here that stuck out for me more than anything. And it's not even like Dyer's so much better in the striking. I just think she's going to be so much faster and so much more athletic than Elise Reed. That's the issue I think Elise Reed is going to have here. Is like Dyer's bouncing around like a fucking rabbit everywhere. You know, she's fast. Elise Reed is kind of ploddy, slow. Like, so I think she's going to have a lot of problems with the speed at the end of the day. And, you know, yeah, there's a world Elise Reed can win this fight. I'm not saying she can't, but I'm just going with Dyer decision, honestly. It's 2-1. I know it's not the best number, but in WMMA, strawweight division too, like these fights are going to distance. I don't know. It's got to be upwards of 75%. You know, they're going to distance. So, yeah, I'm going to take my shot here on Dyer decision and see, you know, and, you know, maybe I get shit on by Elise Reed winning a decision, and Liam looks like a genius here with his decision only. But all right, let's move on. Second fight of the night. It is the battle of the Fabios. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 9-3 Wes Schultz versus the 7-2 Jackson McVeigh. McVeigh minus 172. Wes Schultz plus 151. Look at these guys' hair. I mean, what the fuck are they doing in the UFC? Like, are they modeling? What are they doing, Liam?
They got the flow, Narco. Come on now. And they did the Spider-Man meme at the face-offs as well. So these guys have a sense of humor about it. They fought before as amateurs, and Wes Schultz was able to submit him with an armbar in the first round. And I think that when I look at this fight, I don't see any reason why Wes Schultz can't do the exact same thing, honestly, right? I do think Jackson McVeigh has physically matured a bit. I think he's got a very functional game for about 6.5 minutes. You know, he can go out there, honestly, sometimes less than 6.5, but like that's the max ceiling, right? It's like we've seen 3 minutes of hell from this guy and then he completely gasses out, right? Wes Schultz, for all of his other faults, has knocked down 2 people in his UFC Dana White Contender Series career. He's taken down, or he's achieved 4 takedowns, right? He's gone out there, he's controlled people for some time. He's attempted 6 submissions. The guy is going out there giving himself a chance to win. And yes, he's janky. Yes, he's awkward. He has good cardio, though, right? He pushes through when he gets tired. You have to kill Wes Schultz to beat him. Damian Pinas would probably put Jackson McVeigh in the hospital in the very first round. So I don't really hold that against him. So I just look at it like, hey, Jackson McVeigh, tough guy. But I'll also just note, I wrote belly down armbar for Bruno Ferreira specifically when he was going against Jackson McVeigh, because I was like, this dude is very particular about how he grapples, and Jackson McVeigh is just a big, like angry, like, grab a hold of you grappler. And there's some functionality to that. If you're not as physical, if you're Cedric Dumas looking for the first choke that's locked up to get out of there, he will win. But it's like, in this kind of matchup, it just feels to me he's got about 3 minutes to put Wes out of there with elbows or a choke, or Wes is just going to have more offense over time. And for me, that just feels like the difference maker here. Much respect to both guys, but yeah, Wes beat him the first time, and he's kind of a goofy, silly guy. He's the exact same silly, goofy guy. But against Ben, I thought he was going to lose because I was like, man, Ben is a functional grappler. He actually has some skills. He could do it for a long time. Ben eventually ran out of answers because Wes tired him out by going and going and going, and he put him to sleep. So I just feel like in this fight, for me, it's the sub for Wes Schultz, and it's the ends by sub if you want to give yourself both outs, because I do feel like Jackson McVeigh, when he gets people hurt with the elbows, he likes to sink that darce right away. He's very good at that. But I feel like unless that happens, Wes is probably going to get the better of the grappling exchanges when cardio gets involved.
Yeah, man, great call on this fight. Honestly, you know what? I retaped some things today because I'm like, because the one thing that sticks out about Jackson McVeigh is obviously we know in the clinch, he's really good. He's got very good elbows. He's got very good knees. He literally, if you watch his fights, I want to say probably 90% of his wins are against the cage. He just hurts people on the cage. They either shoot into a darce, or he locks up a darce after hurting them, or he just hurts them on the feet and drops them and then starts following up, right? Like, this is every single fight of his. That's how it ends up. And even in his loss in the UFC, right, it was literally the same thing. He hurt Reese very bad against the cage with elbows. And, you know, he was doing work on Reese. He hit him with the knee to the body, dropped him. But I promise you, look at that fight about 3 minutes in, because you said 3 minutes. And Jackson, I took a screenshot of it and put it in Discord. Jackson McVeigh has his mouth wide open, and he does this. He's looking up at the fucking clock already. And I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's tired already. So after that, there was a knee that happened in the clinch. Low blow. It gave him like 2 minutes of time to recover in that fight. And hence why he made it to round 2. Because I honestly don't even, because he almost crumbled at the end of that round. I don't know if people remember. He got taken down. He didn't know what the fuck to do. He's on bottom, right? But he made it through. And in round 2, it was immediate takedown. He was basically done. And you could hear his corner literally telling him, don't quit. Don't quit, Jackson. Don't quit. Fight the hands. What does he do? He quits. He's dead tired. Done. Tap, tap, tap. Right? I think Wes Schultz is absolute dog shit. I have any part of his game is bad. He shoots terribly. He fucking cardio looks like horrible, right? His striking is absolutely atrocious, right? Including his defense. Like, there's no part of his game that's really good, right? But the one thing that no one can argue is that he fucking fights through adversity. He does in almost every fight, including the Malik fight. He was in some bad spots. He's fucking scrambling, somehow ended up on top of Malik at one point. You know, he's fighting out of these spots and he's trying, right? Instead of like what they were telling Jackson McVay, don't quit. This guy's not quitting. You have to literally put him out, like you said, Liam, like cold. And the guys that honestly have put him out, Damian Pinas, even Malik, those guys are big, athletic, big punchers, you know, and guys that have much better cardio than what I've seen from McVay. Listen, McVay most likely wins this in round 1 in the clinch and hurts him in something and maybe drops him, right? But honestly, these round 2, round 3 numbers on Wes Schultz are really good, man. If this fight extends to round 2 and 3, I promise you, he will have the much better cardio of these two guys, and he is very live to finish this dude. Round 2 is 950. Round 3 is 22-1. All right? And if you want just sub 2-3, it's 950. I think if it extends, he's going to finish this guy. I'm almost certain that McVay has terrible cardio, man. Like, not only that fight, but just look at his whole career. He's never fucking been out of round 1 outside of the Reese fight in the pro ranks. Never. That it's literally written on the wall that, yeah, Wes Schultz sucks, but he pushes through a lot better than Jackson McVay from what I've seen. When Jackson McVay's world turns, like spins the opposite way and he becomes the nail, it's done. So, yeah, I mean, he could finish him in round 1, but I think this 2-3 is really good, man. I honestly think those numbers, I was kind of surprised to see those numbers because Wes Schultz has shown that he can push through for 3 rounds. I've seen him go multiple times, 3 rounds. So, Brady, maybe I talked you into something. I don't know.
We're actually pretty spot on. I remember I was doing the fight campaign with Uncle Weezy for the Wes Schultz fight versus Ben Johnston, and we were watching the fight, and we were just dying laughing at how bad Wes Schultz looked. Like, we were dying. I mean, I swear he pulled guard in the first minute. He was shooting his takedowns out from 15 feet. I mean, Wes Schultz looked like the worst fighter on the roster. We were laughing probably for about 7.5 minutes. And then all of a sudden the tides kind of turned and he ended up getting the finish. But my God, did Wes Schultz look just horrible. So I thought for sure I'd be all over Jackson McVay this week. But after digging into it more, I'm kind of worried about McVay for several reasons. Reason number 1, like you guys mentioned, the cardio of McVay is very bad. I mean, we saw him get out of the first round once versus Reese. He really didn't have anything left. Number 2, the takedown defense is bad. He literally has a 0% takedown defense. Number 3, the submission defense is very bad. He made Zach Reese look like Damian Maia out there. So I agree. I think the most likely scenario is Jackson McVay just putting it on Wes Schultz in the first couple minutes and getting him out of there with, knees in the clinch, elbows in the clinch, maybe a Darce, maybe some ground and pound. But if this fight gets to round 2, it's going to be all Wes Schultz. And so I have the same exact thing, Narco. I took Sub 2 plus 1,300, sub 3 plus 3,000. You can get the sub 2-3 combo at plus 950. And I'm terrified because I don't have a ton of tracked action for this card, but my night pretty much comes down to this fight. I went pretty big on the under 1.5, and I hedged with a Schultz sub 2-3. So if this fight goes to the distance, my ass is getting shaved. But I think this fight finishes under. Jackson McVeigh's never been over the 1.5 round mark. And Jackson McVeigh, when he's winning fights, not only is he winning them in the first round, he's winning them in the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So, yeah, I think it's McVeigh early. Could also be Schultz early. But if this fight gets extended, I'm very confident that, Wes Schultz is going to take over and probably get a late finish. So it's a disgusting fight. I feel disgusted having this much action on it, but that's my read. I think somebody's getting served here. And I think somebody's probably getting subbed as well. I don't mind the fight ends by sub, but yeah, Wes Schultz 2-3 sub. Massive numbers, and if it gets to the second round, those are going to be live as hell, dude.
I will tell you. Go ahead, Liam. Go ahead.
I just have to add, Narrative Nation, Wes Schultz house burned down. He is fighting for his life. He needs this sub like his house depends on it, all right? He's going to go out there, deal with the damage, and he's going to come out the other side and choke this dude.
Did you hear what happened, though, how it happened? It's crazy. God. The story's crazy.
I actually did not.
Dude, he's in Australia fighting the last guy, Ben Johnson, right? In Australia fighting. He flies back the day of his house burns down. He can't even sleep in his own bed, he said. How brutal is that? I don't know how the fire happened, but the same day you land, you're going to your house and your house is on fire. He can't even go in his house. It's insane. The story is crazy.
Poor guy.
I'm like, what the fuck? You just came off like a great win in round 3. You're feeling good, only to come home, not to have a home. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. What I will say is this line, I don't know about you guys, but all I've heard is Jackson McVeigh love this week. Everybody's on Jackson McVeigh, and this line's coming down. It was minus 190. It's minus 172. Everybody seems to be on Jackson McVeigh. And I will caution people, man. Like I hate playing guys, especially at chalk, when they're a one-round fighter. Like it's hard to do. It's like McKinney type of fighter, like McKinney's round 1 or bust. But sometimes with McKinney, he's so athletic and so overwhelming and stuff. If he's facing, somebody that we know he's going to run over, it's like a done deal, But it's not like Jackson McVeigh is like some great striker. He can't strike for shit either, to be honest. Like his striking is shit. So
it's like, what was his problem when he lost to West the first time? His submission defense. Did he look any better in his recent fights? Not to me.
You know what? Wes Schultz might pull guard on him again and fucking try to play off his back and try to sweep him and try. He's probably the much better jiu-jitsu guy. I mean, what does Jackson have outside of the front chokes? I mean, nothing really. So
a shitty back take that got him, thrown to the bottom mount against Bruno Ferreira, and then his arm taken off.
Yeah, and I think he got tired there too in that little sequence, honestly, and it was not even a couple of minutes in. So, anyways, let's move on here. Next fight, it is in the lightweight division. It is the 5-0 Stan Dorsonville versus the 11-3 Gage Young. Gage Young minus 164, Dorsonville plus 144. Is this me? I believe. Yeah, it's me. Well, first things first, I said I like Gage Young here early in the week. Like I know Stan Dorsonville pretty damn well. I watched him live in LFA here in Arizona. He fought one of the guys over here at Arizona Combat Sports. And he won as a big dog. I think he was like plus 300 in that fight, and he won. And he hasn't fought a lot. He's got like one fight in the last couple of years. He's still only 26, so he's getting better. He's got good pace. He's got good cardio. He's got decent wrestling. They say he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't really know what type of black belt. Maybe he is a real black belt. I don't know. I can't say it. Honestly, I can't say it. I don't know where he got it from, but he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's fought a very, very low level of opposition. I know the guy last time out in LFA, the Holt dude, he's a little hyped up, I guess, but man, that guy's a karate guy with no takedown defense, no striking defense, chin up in the air the entire time, backing up in that fight. And Dorsonville, to his credit, he put it on him and eventually finished him. But, dude, he's facing a much better fighter. I mean, this step up for Dorsonville is night and day. And the thing that I don't like about Dorsonville when I watch him fight is a lot of his striking is arm punching. He's coming forward, throwing arm punching, just pressuring people. Not a lot of power in his hands. A lot of the stuff he does is spinning back fist, spinning elbow. He loves his spinning stuff. So the over-under on spins for Dorsonville here is like 4.5. But yeah, like when I watch Gage Young, man, he's just put together well. Like his entire game, he's a good striker. He's got good movement. He's got a very good chin. He's got excellent defensive wrestling. He's very, very physically strong. You're just a well put together fighter. The one thing I can say maybe about this guy that I didn't like is, messing around against Thiago Moises, when you have him hurt and you're, doing the fucking dance there that in front of Moises, kind of stupid. But I disagree that was a split. I didn't think that was a split. I thought he clearly won 2-1 last, 2-3 rounds 2 and 3. I thought he clearly won those rounds. But, the guy's been in the UFC. This is going to be his 4th UFC fight. He's been fighting in front of these big crowds. I will say Stan does seem to have, like, confidence, right? I don't think the big stage might affect him much. I just think skill for skill, Gage Young is just way better. Like, I honestly think he might be the better wrestler here and grappler as well. So it's like he's the better striker to me. He's probably the better grappler to me. He's got UFC experience. They're both the same age. So if you say that Dorsonville is improving, well, so is Gage Young, And the other thing you need to add to top everything off is that Dorsonville has taken this on 1 week's notice. This is a tough ask against Gage Young on 1 week's notice. This is not the regionals anymore. So for me, it's like, I think Gage Young wins this fight, probably by decision. But I will say this is a bet basically on what I've seen. Gage Young seems to have some kind of big cut on his eyelid. It's a cut or a bruise, or it looked bad. And if you go look at the recent interview with Lynch, and I think that happened like 3 or 4 days ago, his eye was literally bleeding, dude. Like it was bleeding there in the interview. So I am concerned. It's an eyelid cut. It's not a good cut. Dorsonville throws a lot of elbows and shit like that. That could open up very bad, man. It's in a very bad spot. I don't think Dorsonville is knocking out Gage Young with shots. I'll tell you that right now because I think Gage Young is very durable. I think it's a cut stoppage if it happens. But it's 14-1, man. Dorsonville KO is 14-1. I just had to poke at it because I saw what I saw, and I really don't love that, from Gage Young, that little cut. But, yeah, I think Gage Young wins the fight, honestly. At the end of the day, probably by decision. But like I said, 14-1, cut on his eye. Dorsonville throws crazy shit, too, like meme, spinning shit, like I said. So I'm taking a crack at 14-1. I don't mind it. Brady?
Yeah, this is actually me the fight I probably pass on. I'm not going to give a Lambo play because I think it's probably Gage Young. Gage Young probably by decision, over 2.5. But I mean, this guy's minus 170. I'm not laying minus 170 on a dancer. Like if this was like a dance battle, I'd be max betting the minus 170 because Gage Young is one hell of a dancer. We saw that in his last fight. This guy has some of the best dance moves in the UFC. But at the end of the day, it's not a dance battle. It's not just dance. It's not dance revolution. Like we're in a fight. So as far as I'm concerned, the judges don't look for dance moves or nothing like that. So I think it's Young, but I don't really want to lay any chalk on this guy. So yeah, Young for me, probably over 2.5, but nothing really sticking out from a Lambo perspective.
Yep. Liam, you got anything on this one?
I think it's a tricky fight. I'll start with that. I like your angle, just from the fact that I was looking at the cut stoppage as well. I actually mentioned that in my article as a path to victory, and you don't do that every day, right? It's like, it has to be contextual, and some guys have scar tissue. I'll also note Mahashate had Gage Young bleeding in the very first round. So it's not like he's not been cut open before. And then you look at, he's got swelling over his eye. People are like, it's just a bruise. A bruise is blood under your skin that if somebody punches you really hard is going to explode. And now it's potential that the doctor intervenes. So I do think that's a little bit worrisome for Gage Young here. But in terms of skill, I kind of agree with your argument, Narco. I basically think there's 3 ways to play this, which would be number 1, the fight ends in split decision, which is like 12-1. I think when you look at the fight dynamic, if he's able to bust his eye open with the first punch of the fight, we know that Stan pushes forward, throws offense aggressively. When he got hurt in his career, he's got very good recoverability. So he pushes forward, he attempts offense, he looks for takedowns. Those are things that the judges value, coming forward, trying stuff, right? On the other side, Gage Young, I thought he clearly beat Thiago Moises, right? Landed more shots, did more convincing damage, right? But because of some of the things that he did, he got a split decision win there against Thiago Moises with like a 50 significant strike gap. So it's just like, I feel like he could fight to a close decision. But the other thing that I would touch on that's not your play, Narco, would just be the ends KO is like plus 225 in this fight. And Gage Young, in my opinion, is not a guy who's going to go out there and look for submissions. That's not his MO. That's not his game. He's looking to knock people out, and he hits very hard. And to your point, he is a step up in competition for Stan. So Stan, who got hurt before, and then the guy let him off the hook, will Gage Young let him off the hook, especially when everybody was in his comments, in his DMs, letting him know, hey, don't fucking dance next time. Like, let him know and go knock him out. And I think if he had turned up the pressure on Thiago Moises, he probably could have finished. So I think the ends KO is the other angle here. If it goes to decision, I think it'll probably be competitive. I think, Gage Young winning makes some sense. But I also think Stan is just a guy that has good attributes. He's a 6-inch reach advantage in this matchup. He's a guy that pushes forward. He had a fight he was preparing for, in pretty close proximity. So I think he's going to show up in shape for 15 minutes, ready to wrestle or strike. And I feel like Gage Young is a good fighter, but we saw Quillen Salkild mixing the martial arts. Obviously, he's a very good fighter, but it was the mixing of the martial arts that was able to win him that fight, right? Getting him to go up, down with the wrestling and the striking. And I feel like Stan is going to try and pressure forward, wrestle and strike. And if he doesn't get knocked out, I feel like he's going to be live in the decision. So that's the way I see the fight.
Yeah, it's a good fight. I think Stan's volume is pretty good, but the thing is, like, when you're throwing volume against these other guys, they're not making you pay. You're just gonna, I feel like Gage Young is gonna make him pay. You can't just throw free volume against Gage Young, because I do think he's gonna throw back and potentially, like you said, potentially hurt Stan at some point. All right, let's move on. Next fight, it is in the featherweight division. It is the 9-2 Ryan Hughes versus the 18-2 Mauricio Barbosa. Barbosa minus 800, Hughes plus 550. Brady, what do you make of this one? 800 plus 550.
Yeah, it's why, man. I was almost gonna pass on this one too, but I'm not a pussy. So one thing that did catch my eye was Mauricio Barbosa has a ton of power in his hands. Probably one of the hardest hitting featherweights on the roster, right? So I think the most likely scenario, what everybody thinks, including me, is probably Barbosa KO1. But, Barbosa does have a couple guillotines on the record. He does go for them, here and there. And you look at Ryan Coos, he's going to look to hump his leg. He's going to look to hump his leg from the jump. I mean, he's going to want nothing to do with the power of Barbosa, in my opinion. So I think Coos is going to wrestle, and that could open up some guillotine opportunities. We could see a club and sub. And I was surprised to see, like, Barbosa by submission plus 1,800. Barbosa by first round submission is plus 3,500. I don't think it's a completely impossible outcome. Like I said, he has a couple of them in his career, and Coos is going to look to grapple here. So I'll go with Barbosa sub 1. I think it is KO, but you can't lay his KO props minus 600. I don't think I've ever seen a KO prop minus 600, let alone for a featherweight fight. It's like, what are we doing here? I mean, the KO1 is like minus 185. It's like, you got to be kidding me. So, sub 1, I think have a shot, have a potential shot. Ryan Coos may end up unconscious, but you never know. Maybe we'll see a Gilly here.
But you can parlay Barbosa with Wint for minus 400. Liam, what do you got here?
I was going to give the same angle that Brady gave for the same reason, right? I've actually seen Ryan stick his head into guillotines on the regional scene before, and I did think that the number was big. If you're asking me how to play the fight, I think on the Barbosa side, the way that, he wins this fight and looks good is the round 1 prop. Unfortunately, that does not meet our plus money criteria for the show. And I wanted to say Kus by decision only because we've seen Barbosa have conditioning problems in the past. But then I look and see he's 3-2 career to the decision. I'm like, at plus 200, I really don't feel as good, right? If it was plus 4xx like Elise Reed, then I'm betting into some more variance. But at plus 2xx, you got to be right. And I feel like Barbosa could get ahead on damage. So I honestly just don't feel great about angles on here, except what Brady already said. So I'm just going to go with that as well and say, hey, at 22-1, I remember Gene Silva against Bryce Mitchell was a similar price. And it's like, yeah, he should win by knockout. He beat him up on the feet. But when the guy wants to grapple and insists on that, sometimes that's the way it finishes. And Barbosa, to your point, he's got a nasty guillotine. So I think he get it in this fight. And I don't have BetMGM or whatever where you can get the exactas, but I think if he gets the sub, it's probably a guillotine.
Yeah, man. I thought I was on an island here, and all of us are on the same bet. Plus 1,800 on the sub, round one sub, plus 3,500. The reasoning is that, yeah, obviously we think Barbosa is probably gonna knock. Kus is a tough guy. I will tell everybody that. He's not a quitter. He's very, very tough. But I kind of feel like it doesn't matter sometimes when you got a nuclear hitter like this guy. He's just gonna put you out, right, when he hits you flush. But I do see scenarios where, and the reason why I played is because Kus is tough, right? I do see scenarios where, Barbosa lands big, but not completely flush on the chin. He hurts Kus. And what does Kus know how to do is he knows how to shoot, and he's going to shoot into a guillotine. Because if you guys go back and watch this fight against Mauricio Barbosa against this Thiago Ramos guy, who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, it's kind of the same shit. He hits him with a big shot. He hurts him. This guy goes panicking to shoot, and boom, right into a guillotine, and he gets him. And his guillotine is nasty. He squeezes hard, dude. And I do think it's very live, honestly. I really believe it's live, especially versus a guy like this. This is a guy in Ryan Kus who's, to me, looks super tough. He's not easy to get out of there. And also, one thing is he's from the same gym and the same coach that has that Karate Combat. That, if you guys remember, that Christopher Elavidres guy that fought on Contender Series, he's another very, very tough dude. A lot of those guys that train there are mentally tough. They're all fighting through in wars and shit like that. So, obviously you don't want to get hit flush by Barbosa. The guy hits like a fucking truck. I mean, we got two of the hardest hitters in the featherweight division on the same card. It's Larion Douglas and Mauricio Barbosa. That's the fight I want to see. Those two guys going against each other. But yeah, I mean, same with you guys. Sub one. If it's happening, it's probably round one. Honestly, if this fight extends, I would not be shocked if Ryan Kus starts putting this guy through the fucking washing machine, because Barbosa has never won a fight outside of round one, except that one split decision he won years and years ago. So, yeah, it's concerning if this fight leaves round one, because even though Ryan Kus is on short notice, I think he probably has the better cardio of these two. The way Barbosa fights, you just can't have good cardio. He's swinging from the hip every time. So it's hard. Let's move on. Next fight. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 18-6 Nasrat Akbaras versus the 17-6-1 Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla has flipped to the favorite minus 112. Akbaras minus 108. I think it's Liam's turn here. A very, very good fight here. Close contested fight.
Absolutely. I have a lot of respect for both of these guys. I'm going to look at the prop menu right now. And I'm seeing Padilla by KO is plus 500. And I feel like Nasrat Haqparast is a tough dude. And I feel like when you look at that last knockout, vicious knockout to come back from. And when I look at how Chris Padilla fights, he's a violent man. He comes forward when he needs to. He takes the right approach in terms of making adjustments on the fly. I thought that the way he was able to get Rongju with that elbow was just tactical. He's a very smart guy when he's fighting. And the fight that he put on with Markel Medeiros last time, I thought it was nothing to hang his hat about. I think he should be 5-0 in the UFC. And when I look at his skill set compared to Nasrat, I think Nasrat is a prettier fighter. He does a little bit more movement. He's slick, technical. He comes from TriStar. But when he's fought guys that are powerful, guys that can push him, he's had a little bit of a hard time dealing with that. And I have never really rated him as a wrestler or a grappler. I bet on him against Dan Hooker, and I was embarrassed after because he got so thoroughly washed in the wrestling from a guy who that's his like C game. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. So for me, maybe Nasrat's made those requisite adjustments, but I feel like Chris Padilla could get him to the ground and put damage on him. I feel like on the feet, he could do the same thing. So for me, I just feel like Taco is a dangerous fighter, and he continues to not get, as much respect. Now the window's coming in on him, but I do think that Taco Padilla is just a guy that I rate as a guy. If it's a, gritty dogfight, I feel like he wants it as bad as anybody, and he'll push through. So I like Taco here.
Is it glitching on my end, or is Liam freezing?
Liam,
Confused.
looks.
I can hear you, Brady.
It's probably me then.
Yeah, Narco, you were frozen, Narco, for a second.
Okay, Brady, can you go and then let me reset and come back?
Okay. Yeah, so I agree with Liam here. Padilla KO plus 500. I'm kind of worried about Hack Press. He's one of these guys who is, very tough, but he's taken a lot of punishment. Dober knocked him out back in the day. This guy I thought he died. Like I literally thought it was the first death in the UFC cage when Quillen Salkill landed that head kick. But prior to that, like he got head kicked by Ribovics. I think a lot of people forgot that he actually got rocked badly by Ribovics late in the fight there. And then even Jared Gordon rocked him in the second round as well. And I was watching back that Gordon fight, and Gordon was just coming forward in that round two. I thought he was about to break Hack Brass by the looks of it, but he didn't. But that's what Padilla fights like. He's going to come forward the entire time. He's going to throw elbows. He's going to look to land big shots. And it wouldn't completely shock me if the chin of Hack Brass might be compromised a bit. So I think the finish only for Padilla is a solid look this week. I think Padilla is more durable at this stage of both their careers. And I think Padilla is a lot more dangerous as well. So, Padilla KO plus 500. Narco, what do you think? Oh, God. Oh, God.
It's just me and you holding down the fort for a second, Brady. The only thing I would add is that you may want to split your stake in this kind of situation between the KO and the ITD for Padilla, because we saw in his first UFC fight, very opportunistic with the back take. If he gets an opportunity, Nasrat career 1-1 to the submission prop, not very good in the grappling. And I feel like if anybody wins by sub, I think it would be Padilla going out there, hurting him, or, just hopping on his back and grabbing a hold of the choke. So, I just feel like that's the other thing you could do. If somebody's tough and durable on the feet, they're taking the damaging shots. It's like, okay, while you're hurt, I'm just going to grab a hold of your neck, because there's no being a tough guy about a choke. You just go to sleep,
Yep. Makes sense. And while we're waiting, maybe I can sing a tune for everybody. Wow, baby girl, baby mama, what's your name? What's your number? Oh, girl. Well, that's all I got.
Fantastic. I will unfortunately not be singing for the audience, but I do appreciate everybody who's rocking with us live, That was beautiful. Live entertainment.
Let's go.
You want to move to the next fight while we wait for Narco to come back?
Let's do it, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you want to kick us off for Gaziv into Chukwu?
Sure, man. This is an interesting fight. I feel like it's a little bit hard to trust both of these guys right now, based on what we've been seeing from them recently. I'm trying to look and see if there is a takedown prop available for Gaziv. It doesn't look like you can get an over-under on DraftKings. You can only get the alternate props, which I do not like, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to pivot live and look at something else here, which is Gaziv round 1 is the angle I'll look at. I think the best work that we see from Gaziv is in the early rounds. He comes out, he tries to barnstorm somebody, and you can get plus 330 on Gaziv round 1. I think he's typically very aggressive. And if you had to criticize Kennedy and Nzechukwu, sometimes he starts very slow. Sometimes he lets his opponents crowd him, and he doesn't really react properly. So I feel like when I look at how Gaziev wins this fight. I think it's coming forward, applying pressure, looking to knock him out, looking to take him down. So those are the ways I see him winning the fight. And I feel like he's either going to go out there and finish him in round 1 or try and lay on him for 3 rounds. So at plus 330, I think the round 1 for Gaziev is live. What do you think, Brady?
Dang, dude, we're like lining up, man.
Simpatico.
We got a sex spot in the chat. Get out of here, sex spot. We don't want to click on your sex links. I don't want to have sex right now. I want to talk fights with Liam and Narco. But yeah, we're seeing it the same way. I think if Gaziev wins, it's probably going to be in round 1. We've seen Kennedy go out there, go to the center of the cage, pull down his pants, and take a big shit right into the octagon. He did it against Da Un Jung, where that elbow that landed to the guard wobbled him and rocked him, and he got knocked down in round 1. He took a big shit against Dustin Jacoby in round 1, where he went out there and got sparked in a minute. It's like, it's so hard to trust Kennedy. And I've said it from the jump. This is a guy in Kennedy who I thought had all the potential in the world. I mean, this guy is massive. This guy has all the physical attributes. It's just, he's one of these guys that just could never put it together. I was always like, one day Kennedy's going to put it together. One day Kennedy's going to put it together and it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, it's been 7 years, Kennedy. It's been 7 years. I mean, if Kennedy hasn't put it together yet, I mean, I don't think he's ever going to put it together. So, I'm kind of seeing it as Gaziev round 1. And if not, maybe Kennedy takes over. Maybe Gaziev slows down and Kennedy could, win it a decision, maybe 2-3, win those second 2 rounds with the volume and the pace and the cardio. Maybe get Gaziev out of there early. But I think if Gaziev's winning this fight, it's going to be early. It's going to be landing a big shot. Kennedy really hasn't yet been able to feel some of this heavyweight power. I mean, look at who he's fought. He fought Chris Barnett, who's not a real fighter. He fought Lucas Bresky, who's not a real fighter. Walter Walker took him down, but Checha is not a real MMA fighter. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. So he really hasn't faced a real heavyweight hitter. Gaziev's a real heavyweight hitter who has power and who is landing big on Brando Pericic in that last fight. So, yeah, it's gross. Gaziev, round 1. I think that's the path, though. What's up, Narco?
I don't know what the hell. My thing went to crap. I don't know if it's my internet, so I had to go on my phone and go on 5G instead. So I'm very, very sorry about this, but nothing I can do. That the home internet seemed to the fiber optic bullshit that they say doesn't go out actually went out. So I don't know where you guys were at. I could just give my play. I don't have to give deep breakdowns. On the Nasrat one, I like split decision. I just feel like it's going to be a close competitive fight. It's 4-1. I just feel like both these guys, I do think Nasrat's the cleaner boxer, the cleaner striker, but I like Padilla's work rate. I like Padilla's clinch game. I like Padilla, the fact that he's always putting something out in front of him. He's not just walking into shots. He's teeping you. He's kicking you inside leg, outside leg. I love that about him. And people don't remember last time out, even at that crazy pace against Medeiros, he had a very, very rough weight cut. He missed weight. He didn't look really good on the scales, and he still put that pace there, and I think he's going to do even better here. So I think it's a close fight. Split decision, I think, is fine, plus 400. The one thing I did hear before I left, Liam, you did say that head kick. It worries me, obviously, a little bit, but historically, Nasrat's so fucking tough, so durable, especially the Ribovics fight. I just feel like a close fight. Did you guys do the Kennedy one?
Yeah, we did.
All right. That fight, I like. I do like the other side, as far as winning this fight. I think Gaziev getting a step down, in my opinion. The losses that he has are, to guys that probably would shit on Kennedy. And, I think Kennedy, even though he's got a couple of wins in the heavyweight division, but against who, man? I mean, one of them is an injury to Chris Barnett where he got injured. The other one's, who was it? Another very, very ugly fighter that's not in the UFC. It's like, the draw against Buchecha is aging very, very bad, even though it's a point taken. But like, if Buchecha had half a brain, he finishes that fight in round 2, but he stops punching. It was like millimeters away from getting stopped, and he stops punching. So I do think that it's kind of a binary fight in the sense that, like, if it extends, it's going to be bad news for Gaziev because that's Kennedy's path, like basically breaking people later. But I just kind of feel like it doesn't. But I mean, you want to play Kennedy, it's 2-3, 700, 950. But I truly think it's around 1 KO for Gaziev. I think the number's like, I don't know, it's not great. It's like plus 300, 290. But I think it's around 1 KO for Gaziev here. You guys start the next one?
No, we didn't.
Can you, because I don't have it in front. Oh, you know what?
It's Emmers and Douglas next.
Yeah, I think my internet, it's back. Son of a bitch. Let me get on my computer. But you guys could start one of them. The Emmers one, you guys could start it. Let me get out of here.
I'll kick us off. Jamal Emmers versus Larry and Douglas. And I really like, Larry and Douglas. This is a guy that I'm really excited about. We talked about the power of Marcio Barbosa. I mean, this guy hits just as hard, if not hard. I mean, the power of Larry and Douglas is absolutely unreal. It's just this line's wide. I mean, minus 400 for a guy in Douglas who, at the end of the day, yes, he looks incredible, but he looks incredible against a walking punching bag in Cam Teague. He looks incredible against, Juicy J, who's, extremely chinny and washed. So I think we need to, pump the brakes a little bit. But yeah, I think Larry and Douglas does have a pretty high ceiling. I think he's getting Jamal Emmers at the right time. Jamal Emmers, 37 years old at this point. I never thought Emmers has had the best fight IQ. I never thought that Emmers has had the best chin and durability. So yeah, I think Douglas, the most likely scenario is Douglas going out there and knocking him out. It's just hard for me to personally lay minus 400 on a guy who, at the end of the day, who's been finished 4 times, who at the end of the day, you watch some of this guy's past fights and there's not some of the best looks. So I like Douglas here. I like Douglas by KO, but the KO prop, kind of like the Barbosa fight, it's just unplayable to me. The KO prop is sitting at like minus 190 for a featherweight fight. I'm not in love with that. I think it could be a KO1, but I'm just going to go with KO2 here, hoping that, Jamal Emmers can hang in there for at least 5 minutes. Yes, he knocked out Cam Teague in the first round, but it's Cam Teague. Yes, he knocked out Juicy J in the first round, but it's Juicy J. And you look at Larry and Douglas's record, he does have, quite a few 2-3 KO stuff like that. So I'll go Larry and Douglas KO2 plus 550. Not a fight that I'm personally betting, but for the show, I'll say he knocks him out, and I'll say it takes at least 5 minutes to get Emmers out of there. So Liam, what are you liking for this fight? Oh, you're back, Narco.
Yeah, let Liam go. Go ahead, Liam.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Man, I don't have a tremendous amount to add here. My first instinct was to go look at the Jamal Emmers decision only line, just because I feel like there's a path to Jamal Emmers going out there and trying to wrestle this guy. I feel like looking at these guys at the face-off, Jamal looks like he's in great shape. And if you have to give Jamal credit, like, he could have easily beaten Giga Chikadze on the cards. It was a very close fight. It was like a couple sequencing things on the stat line. It looks like he should have won the fight. But he just made a couple small mistakes. And to your point, Brady, he's kind of a guy who's had mental mistakes throughout his career. He got baited into a brawl with Nate Landwehr, paid the price for that. And I think that in this fight, that's the danger. Both these guys rep California for different reasons, right? But Jamal Emmers is a guy that trains with really good guys, has been in the gym for a long time, has been in there in pretty high-level UFC fights. So yeah, that's why I wanted to at least look for an angle to give him a chance in this kind of matchup. But the takedown props that I've seen are terrible. The decision only prop is even worse somehow. So it's like, yeah, I really don't like many of the angles there. So I feel like this fight, it's like the only fight I really don't have much that I feel is like a value play. It's something that's like plus money. What's Douglas KO1? Because I feel like is that even plus money?
I don't know if it's plus.
Barely.
I mean, if that's plus money, that's like the only thing I could think to give here, but I don't feel great about it, right?
Yeah. Honestly, I think this line's crazy after I taped it. And listen, there's no one that's bet Larry and Douglas more than me in LFA. Like, I bet him literally religiously every single time. I know him really well. I thought he was very undervalued, underrated type of fighter. He's gotten a lot better from, his earlier days. If you listen to the story of this guy, Cub Swanson talks about this guy, right? This guy came to Florida with a backpack, and that's it. He just kind of like left Brazil because he couldn't get a fight. And he left Brazil just looking for a gym. He had no coaches, no gyms. He fought in Brazil when he fought as a young guy. He had 0 coaches and 0 gyms. He just fucking went out there and fought. He was training on his own. So he kind of just used his own raw skills. I mean, he wrestled at a young age. He did some boxing. So that's how he fought back then. And he came to Florida with nothing. He made his way to California, found a gym. I do believe first he went to Jackson Wink. He was at Jackson Wink for a little bit. And then he went to somewhere else in California before he made his way to Bloodline, right? And that's when he kind of stuck. I think he has very good boxing. He's got big power. He's got excellent calf kicks. I mean, very, very dangerous calf kicks. But the one thing I've always said about this guy, and I know it's going to rear his head soon. I can promise you it's going to rear his head, is that Larian Douglas, for one, he could be backed up very easily. For two, he shows some quit in him, man, in some of these fights. Like, Isaac Thompson fight, he got landed with a head kick. But if you look at the head kick, it landed, but it wasn't like one of those debilitating head kicks. And he stood there and he was coming out to fight again. And then he thought twice about it, however he felt. And he backed himself in the cage and just crumbled to the ground and quit, basically, right? But here's the fight that I really think why this guy has quit in him, right? Go back and watch Nathan Garib in round 1, okay? And in round 1, first of all, the entire round, he's getting his ass kicked by Nathan Garib. He's getting calf kicked. He's getting punched. He's getting backed up. And near the end of that round, Nathan Garib lands something on him, and he does the same fucking thing. He shells up, and he kind of crouches down, and Nathan Garib is starting to knee him and punch him, and then the bell sounds, and he looks at Nathan Garib and smiles like he wasn't even hurt. Like, hey, you didn't hurt me, right? But, like, it's rearing its head again. The same shit he did in that fight against Thompson, he did it again in the Garib fight, and that's, 2 years ago, right? He's come on. I mean, he's got a long winning streak, but like Julian Erosa looks about as washed as a fighter as you can possibly fucking see, bro. Like, he was a sitting duck in that fight, getting calf kicked, punched. He looked slow as shit, right? Even if you go back to the Elkins fight, he looked dog shit in that fight. I mean, he was almost looking like he was pulling guard against Elkins in that fight, man. It looked awful. So it's like he had 2 sitting ducks in a row, Cam Teague and Julian Erosa. And listen, the guy has a lot of power, and he can hurt you. And Jamal Emmers obviously got knocked out in a bad look. But, like, can Emmers not hurt this guy all of a sudden? Like, Emmers hits hard, man. Emmers hurt a lot of people that he fought. People seem to forget that Emmers can crack. He can hurt you. And he's going to have a reach advantage. He's a little bit longer than this guy. He's got way more experience than UFC experience, right? I know he's 37. I know that. But he also, went out there and did what he had to do against Emil. He showed very good fight IQ for once, right? Instead of brawling with Emil, what did he do? He used his wrestling. And there's one thing with Larian Douglas that hasn't really been tested in the later rounds. It's his wrestling. When he tires out, go watch and the Gonzalez fight. That's a very good fight to watch also. In round 3, he's fucking gassed. And there's a takedown there. There's a back take by Gonzalez. And almost there's a rear naked choke by Gonzalez in that fight. So, yeah, man, this line's wide. Like, yeah, can Larian Douglas knock him out? Sure. But I also think he can get hurt in this fight. I also think he can get taken down in this fight. And so, I don't know. I don't know where to go with Emmers because I think his decision line is wide, but I also think his KO line is wide. It's 850. And it's like, fuck, this guy's been finished. It's not like Larian Douglas is like some guy that's never been finished. He's super durable. No, he's shown me he can quit. He's shown me that he gets hurt. And he's facing probably one of the biggest punchers he's ever faced or up there with one of the biggest punchers, right? So, I I'm going to give Emmers KO, man. 850. I honestly think, this line's, first of all, wide. I don't think Larian Douglas should be minus 380 here. I really don't. He could definitely prove me wrong, and he can definitely knock out Jamal Emmers. But I think, honestly, this is his toughest test. And if you look at him historically, his money lines prior to Dana White's Contender Series in the last fight, he's been a dog in every single fight. So all of a sudden the market says, nope, this guy should be minus 400 versus a legit fighter. And maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I don't like it. Personally, I don't like that he's such a big favorite here. Let's move on. Next fight. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 7-0 Anthony Wint versus the 5-1 Terrence Chapman. Yeah, Wint minus 1,000. Chapman plus 661. Liam, what do you like in this fight here? It's a late made fight in general.
Yeah, I feel like this is a Fury FC heavyweight title fight. So respect to both guys. Obviously Chapman lost a close fight against Myron Dennis. Honestly, after rewatching that fight, I feel like that one could have went either way. He knocked him down. If you look at his fights, like the way he wins rounds is he just relies on knocking people down. He's got a decent low kick. He's got a decent overhand right. That's about what I'd have to say about him so far. And, he's got to show us a little bit more. I'd say his cardio is probably above average for a heavyweight, but it's also not very good, right? Like he didn't have the speed to keep up with Myron Dennis, especially down the stretch. The one thing I wanted to pull up here was the takedown prop. And yeah, this is what I'm going to give. Anthony Wint 1+ takedown is plus 150 in this fight. And one thing I always acknowledge is when you have somebody that's a dangerous puncher, it might just be a knockout in the first round. But I feel like when you look at fights, you have to think about what's the path of least resistance. And for a guy like Anthony Wint, he didn't get credited with the takedown against Matt Adams in his last fight, but Matt Adams initiated multiple takedown attempts. Matt Adams is a better wrestler than Chapman by all appearances. And Matt Adams got flat-backed when he tried to do that, turned back, and then he never got back up to his feet because Wint was able to unload with the ground and pound. So I feel like if Wint has, smart people in his corner, they go, hey, man, listen, this guy actually has some decent skill on the feet. So why don't we just go out there and test the fact that he's never been taken down and go try and take him down? And against that, Omar El Sala dude, he had a hard time keeping him down, but he got him down multiple times. I feel like he's going to get Chapman down. Chapman does come from 4 ounce. Maybe he's got a decent ground game he's never shown off, but until I've seen it, I can't really believe it. And honestly, I feel like Wint, even if he's not the better wrestler and grappler, look at how he's built. He's an NFL player. You don't think he can tackle somebody one time at plus 150? So yeah, just for me, I feel like that is a prop that can cash whether he gets a decision win or whether he knocks him out in the first round, So for me, that's something I like here at plus 150. I'll just keep it simple.
Yeah. You made a good point. That's the one thing I don't know about Chapman is I have no idea what he's going to look like off his back because he's never been there. He's the one been on top, on Myron Dennis. I will say though, everybody's shitting on his physique and he looks like, look at this guy, he looks like a Greek god, and this guy, he looks like he's in a hot dog eating contest and shit like that. But Chapman does have skills on the feet. He's pretty athletic. He's got good movement for a heavyweight. He's got a very good jab that I like. And he's got power, honestly, in his hands. Every one of his opponents, he's hurt or finished, basically, in every single one of his fights. So he does have power. Obviously, Anthony Wint can knock anybody out. He throws very, very hard from the hip, and he's obviously got power. The one thing I will say is, people need to slow down with Anthony Wint because his striking is not good, man. It's very, very wild winging hooks. Those are not going to work at a high level. Those are terrible. But he's landing on people. He's putting them out. He's obviously super athletic, right? And if there is a finish, I feel like it's going to probably come from, top and maybe finish him. But, man, okay, these last 3 guys, it hasn't gone over, 45 seconds, right? Every single one of them has been finished within 45. The Matt Adams, it didn't even look like he wanted to fight, bro. What was that? The other two, he just flatlined them with big shots right on the feet. But you go further back, and like a year ago against Emmanuel Veradier, this guy here, that's 5-5-1, right? This guy's been finished 4 times by KO. You look at the guys he's been finished, it's been 3 of them have been in round 1 finishes by KO, right? But he was able to go 3 rounds with Anthony Wint in his own gym, right? This, I don't know if you guys know this, but XFC is in Killcliff Gym. It's a promotion they do inside of the gym. So he fought him in his own gym, went 3 rounds with him, right? That's kind of a thing. And Veradier is actually a light heavyweight. He's not even a heavyweight, right? And he fought him at heavyweight. And he was able to go 3 rounds with him. The other thing is, like, you look at this Salah guy, he's fucking awful, dude. He's just a big body, right? He's big, but he's awful. He can't strike. He can't grapple. He's just bad. And for him to, like, even go to split decision with Anthony Wint, it's a terrible look, dude. It just tells you that, yeah, this guy is improving from then, for sure. But it's only a year ago. How much better did he actually get? And I do think Chapman is a better fighter than all of these guys that he's faced, you know? So for me, I feel like Chapman gets out of round 1, honestly. I really do. I think if it happens, it might be a nuke maybe, but I think Chapman, the way he fights, if you watch him fight, he's low volume. He's very defensively minded when he's fighting. He's not like trying to get into brawls. So I feel like he's going to be defensive minded. He's going to try to probably jab and move against a guy like Wint. Obviously, the one thing I have no idea about is what he looks like on bottom. And that could happen. That could, be ground and pound stoppage, arm triangle. I don't know, right? But I'm going to try to go with something different. Chapman surviving round 1. Wint round 2 is 6-1. We've seen him, finish guys later in fights. Yeah, I think one thing I've seen with Chapman is his cardio doesn't look great. He seems to slow down a lot, especially in the Dennis fight. I know that was 5 rounds, but even in other fights, like, you can tell he's very low volume. He's very weary about his gas tank, and he's taking this fight on super short notice, even though Anthony Wint is as well. But Anthony Wint just fought 2 weeks ago. He knew he was getting a fight right away. He asked for it. He knew he was getting it. He's still in shape, So, yeah, round 2 plus 600. I mean, taking a poke at something a little bit bigger here. Brady?
Yeah, I think this might be the first ass chapping in UFC history. I think, Wint might chap Terrence Chapman's ass here. But no, I feel like this fight kind of plays out one of 2 ways. I feel like it might end instantly, or I feel like it could extend. I feel like it could go long. And I was looking at the props, and I saw Terrence Chapman by decision is like, Anthony Wint by decision is like plus 1,300 for, minus 1,000 favorite to win by decision. Like, Chapman, we don't really know much about his durability. We don't know much about his ground game, but would it really surprise anybody if this went to decision? Like, it's not like these guys have never been to decision. Both these guys have. I mean, Chapman went 25 minutes. We've seen Wint go 15 minutes. So I kind of feel like it does end early, but if not, if it gets extended, I could see it maybe going 15. So yeah, Anthony Wint by decision, going to get a little crazy, plus 1,300. With that said, I was shocked when Liam said Anthony Wint to get 1 takedown was plus 150. I actually tailed Liam on that. I had to go check for myself because it's like Wint can take him down. Look at Wint. He's built like a refrigerator. This guy played football. He can go out there and tackle Terrence Chapman if he wants to. Like, he wrestles in most of his fights. And I remember hearing an interview with Wint, and he kind of talked about how, yes, he played football, but his first love was actually wrestling. So, Anthony Wint to get 1 takedown is plus money. I had to tail Liam on that one. So appreciate you, Liam. Hopefully that comes through for the both of us. But yeah, I think hopefully Wint gets a takedown, and I could see it maybe getting extended here.
Where the hell is that 1 takedown for? That's a great line.
Oh,
that's on DK. Shout out the homies. I just feel like that's the kind of play where if it hits in the first round, we never get it again in the UFC. So that's why you just got to take it.
What is this bullshit? That's a crazy line because I
I
will
know.
tell you, the other guy's takedown defense has never even been tested. Like who's gonna test his takedown defense with these guys that he's faced? It's never even. And I don't even care if it has, right? I don't even care if it has. Just the fact that you've seen Wint wrestle a lot, like against the Salah guy, he was wrestling a lot, and maybe because Chapman's a big dude, he could do the same thing here. He's like, fuck this. Why am I going to strike? Because listen, at the end of the day, one thing we also don't know is we don't really know Wint's chin. Can he take a big shot from a heavyweight? Like, he's never been tested against these guys. Like, no one's really hit this guy, clean. So I really don't know if he can even fucking take a shot, but at the end of the day, the over half plus 200, 150 is
Wait, Narco.
What?
DK has Anthony Wint to get the most takedowns in the fight at plus 200.
Oh, that's even
Yep.
better.
Yep. We're all in, guys.
That's even what? Does it push?
Well, sign me up. Does it? Wait. Does it?
Oh, guys, we
it-
literally nuked it in real time. It's down to plus 130.
It doesn't push. So if it goes 0-0, loses. But still, it's still good. It's better than the over half, because if he does get over half, then he's not.
Then he gets the
taken down
most.
by Chapman.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
He's not
agree.
getting. He's not getting taken down by.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry that we nuked it live. I hope everybody will tune in live next time, so that way they don't miss
actually
it.
just hit that one too. I mean,
Yes, I
that's
got
a
in.
Crazy line. It's
I got it.
literally
Let's
crazy line.
go. Come on, Wint. One takedown, Wint. Come on, take him down.
Well,
Don't sell on us, Win. Just tackle this guy. You're an NFL player. Don't fuck around.
2-1 just doesn't make sense. It really
No.
doesn't. If I lose, so be it. But 2-1 just doesn't make sense on this kind of prop. So, all right, let's move on. I mean, Chapman has zero ability to probably take him down. I don't think he's taking down Wint. So, all right, let's move on. Next one. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 7-0 Jesla Chavez versus the 6-2 Carly Judice. And currently, is this line right? Oh, minus 600 Judice, plus 425 on Chavez. I can kick this one off. There's one thing I've seen with Chavez is she tries hard. Like, she throws hard, she tries hard, but I think there's a big issue for her in this fight. And the big issue for her is, like, her defense is non-existent, man. She's an absolute punching bag on the feet. Sofia Montenegro was just landing anything she fucking wanted in that Dana White Contender Series fight. You even go back to some of these regional fights that are fighting in the mall, and some of these, like, low-level girls are landing on her left, right, and center, She does throw hard. I think she has very, very good elbows in the clinch. She does have some things to her that are pretty good. She's durable, right? She looks pretty damn durable. But I think there is some unknowns. One, it's very important, is she's never faced a southpaw in her career. If you've never faced a southpaw, I think it's a hard thing to do for the first time in your career. It's just different. You're used to orthodox fighters. You're used to certain things that you do as far as your striking that, will work against orthodox, but will not work against southpaws, right? The one thing that will work for Carly Judice here is body kicks, teeps, left hand straight down the pipe, jab. The way Chavez throws, it's all left hook, right hand, jab, 2. That's the only combo she knows, it seems like. It's 3-2 or 1-2. She knows nothing else when she's throwing. And against a good striker like Judice, who has all types of weapons, beautiful uppercuts, body shots, kicks, knees, elbows. She's got it all. The one thing about Judice that's bad is she literally has no head movement. I don't like that. She's kind of gets hit a lot as well. So there is a chance, Chavez lands some big shots on her. But I went back and forth on this, saying that, this is flyweight. Chavez is tough. But, man, I think she's going to get torched to the body here. I think she's going to eat nice body kicks, teeps, and eventually she's going to start dropping her hands. And I think Judice is going to finish her in rounds 2 and 3 here. I'm going to go 2-3, 600, 850. They're shit numbers. But, she did survive Sofia Montenegro. She took an absolute ass kicking and somehow won that fight, which I disagreed with. Who'd she beat last time in an ugly fight? Was it Ravina Oliveira? Who was it that she beat?
Dubin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no, I got it. Brady's got to do it. I can't even do it. It's fucking disgusting. But, it wasn't a split decision. I disagree with it. But how the fuck is Dubin out grappling her at some point in this fight in round 3? Like, Dubin can't even spell grappling. And she was fucking, doing work on her in round 3, I believe it was. It's like, come on. So, yeah, I think Judice can finish her, honestly, later in this fight. I know she's tough. I know it's flyweight. But Judice has a lot of weapons. And like you guys say, if she's going to cover 585, 600, she's probably got to finish. Brady?
yeah. I mean, I actually kind of agree with the line. Like, I wish it wasn't so wide because I really do like Judice in general and in the spot. I mean, I'm kind of getting, a little bit of a fraud vibe from Chavez. I mean, you look at her early career before she fought Dubin and before she fought Sophia on the Contender Series. I mean, she's fighting literally the worst competition you'd ever see in your entire life. I mean, you look, I'm watching her fights, and it's like she's fighting in an elementary school gymnasium. It's like, why are you fighting in a elementary school gymnasium? That's for kids to learn and to play. It's not for fighting. There shouldn't be a cage in a elementary school gymnasium. And then it's like, oh god, she's fighting at a shopping mall. And it's like, what? Why are you fighting at a shopping mall? Shopping malls are for shopping, going with your friends and family, going to the stores and buying presents or stuff for yourself. And they're fighting in a food court. It's like, why are you fighting in a food court? People are trying to enjoy their meals. It's like, get out of there. Get out of the mall. Why are you fighting there? So, and she's fighting the biggest bums ever. And then she takes a step up against Sofia Montenegro, and she goes life and death with her on the Contender Series. And then she fights Eunice Dubin and goes life and death with her in moments of that fight. So it's like, I think the ceiling is seriously capped on Chavez, whereas with Judice, I think the ceiling is high. Yeah, she needs to work on her strike and defense, but the offensive striking, the offensive tools are incredible. The volume is incredible for the division. And yes, she does go to the body. She does go to the head. So I think Judice is going to put it on her. I think, this is not no shopping mall. This is the UFC, Jesla. And I think Judice is going to probably get her out of there. I think she's either going to get her out of there, or I think it's going to be like a big beat down. But I'm with you, Narco. I'm just going 2-3 KO, though, at a little bit better prices. I'll go 2-3 KO plus 390.
Okay, I got something for you, Brady. You want to see the level of opposition she's been facing? Do yourself a favor. Are you on Tapology?
I can be.
I'm going to help you right now. I'm going to help you just to see what level she's fighting. Okay?
All right.
I'm going to show you something. Go to her Tapology, and then see that Gomez Fight Championship? Click on that organization. What pops up on Tapology?
Gomez Fight Championship.
Yeah,
okay.
She's got 3 fights there. See them?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah,
Click
I see
on
it.
that Gomez fight. What does it say on Tapology?
Tapology record integrity notice. Oh,
I've
God.
never seen that. It's the whole fucking promotion that's on integrity.
Oh my God.
You see this shit? I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
The whole
Weird.
fucking Gomez Fight Championship is fraudulent, it seems like, right? And then
Yeah.
obviously Demo Fight is the one that scrubs. Remember they put UFC guys in Dana White's Contender Series and they scrub all the fights. Do you guys remember that? That's Demo Fight. That's Demo Fight. So she's in 2 of the most fraudulent organizations possible in Brazil. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out because it's just something funny. I'm like, what the hell is this? I've never seen that. Liam?
Yeah, I'm going to largely echo the sentiments of the fellas. When you just look at Carly Judice, she throws a ton of output that makes her a pretty hard woman to deal with. In her early UFC fight, she lost a couple of split decisions. Honestly, those could have went her way. She landed like 160 significant strikes in both of her first 2 fights. And now I think she's gotten a little bit better with the shot selection, and she's been landing a little bit more cleanly as well when she is landing. To Narco's point, the danger a little bit is just the defense. With a lot of young fighters, with a lot of up-and-comers, what is the thing that comes around first? The offense, right? That's what's fun. That's what you want to work on. The defense is what you have to work on, and normally it comes on the other side of a humbling. For Jesla Chavez, though, the Dubin fight, to your guys' point, it was super close. It was back and forth. It was competitive. Not a very good look. We saw Carly Judice assassinate that woman, with all due respect, right? the common opponent. And then you look at Sofia Montenegro, hurt her so badly in round 2, did everything but finish from there. And Chavez was in desperation mode. The one thing I will note, the fight doesn't go the distance, and the Judice ITD prop, they're very similar. So I might not get cute there if I'm looking at like a 20-cent difference or something like that, depending on the books you shop on. But ultimately, I think that's the angle I'd be looking at here. I do think Judice has the tools to finish this fight. I think she's much more dangerous than the other women that Chavez has been going to decision with. I think Chavez is tough, but she looked like the victim of a violent crime on that Contender Series fight. And on top of that, she got basically knocked out in round 2, woke up with ground and pound, and then the girl couldn't finish on top because she was tired. I think that Judice by submission at 12-1 is such a big number because she's never submitted anybody before. But frankly, it's a WMMA fight. More often than not, when the finishes materialize, it is a submission. I think Judice is a pure striker, but if she hurts this girl and the girl goes zombie mode and just tries to hold on to her, I don't think Judice is like going to be out of her depth there. I think she could wrap a hold of her neck and just choke her unconscious as well. So at 12-1 compared to the KO at like plus 130, when the fight not to go is, even money, I just feel like I'd rather have the even money and then maybe a small sprinkle on Judice by sub. I think I bet it on Contender Series for her, and it didn't work out, but I feel like eventually that will pay off. And then from that point forward, it will not be 12-1 anymore.
She has been working a lot on, if you look at her IG, she's been working on a lot of grappling, wrestling, just so you know. So, all right, let's move on. Next fight, it is in the lightweight division. It is the 11-1-1 Markel Maderos versus the 18-2 Mason Jones. Mason Jones up to minus 360 with the comeback on Maderos at plus 289 now. It's Liam.
Oh boy. This is a tricky fight as far as I'm concerned. But the thing that I kind of lean towards in this fight is that the books are heavy on Mason Jones getting takedowns here, which is the thing that, if I was laying big chalk on Mason Jones, I would want to know that he was going out shooting takedowns in this matchup. So I'm looking for the Mason Jones submission prop. Does anybody have it handy? The price on that?
I got a plus 500. And the reason I know that is that might be mine. But no, plus 600, my bad. Plus 600.
Okay, then that's what I'll go with. I'll go with sub for Mason Jones. I think Markel Maderos is a tough guy. I don't think it's going to be easy to get him out of there on the feet. I think both of these guys are pretty tough on the feet, all things considered. But Mason Jones, it's like a minor miracle. The guy doesn't have any more submissions. He's gone for them before. He's looked to put 8 takedowns out there multiple times in the UFC. And Markel Maderos has been taken down. He's shown his back before. He's been in dangerous positions. And I honestly feel like Taco, if he had that one to do over again, might have tried to grapple him a little bit more aggressively because he tried everything he could to kill him on the feet and it didn't work. So, yeah, I feel like Mason Jones could learn something from that. And the fact that he hasn't finished the last couple of guys, he's tried to just beat up. And I feel like he might, lean on his grappling a little bit here, his experience. He's got a lot of credentials on the mat. So let's go Mason Jones by sub.
Yeah, man. I love Mason Jones fights. Like, who doesn't like this guy's fights? They're all fucking wars. They're all exciting. He's, balls to the wall from the minute the fucking bells goes. Every single fight is an absolute war. Axel Sola, Balaji Oki, even Jeremy Stevens' fight, he made it into a war when he didn't have to. Like, why are you just swinging dicks with Jeremy Stevens? Why are you giving him an opportunity to hurt you on the feet, and he can hurt anyone on the feet, right? Go down and drop down and take him down and do what you need to do, right? Instead of fucking around on the feet. But yet he said it before on his, on an interview. He's like, he just likes excitement. He likes to excite the crowd and stuff like that. So fight IQ is an issue for Mason Jones, watching Markel Maderos, and he's from the MMA lab. He's out here, and I think the guy is skilled. I actually think he can strike. He switches stances. He showed me a lot of good clinch work against Padilla, who's very, very hard to fight in a clinch because he's really good there. I mean, Maderos landed his share of elbows against Padilla in that fight, right? I do think, though, Maderos is like a big-time weasel. He seems to always weasel his way to wins. I had Austin Hubbard against him in that fight. And Hubbard decided to be a fucking moron and You know, it was 1-1. He had him down. He had him flattened out. Medeiros went to give up his back, and Hubbard quickly jumped, and instead of taking his time and getting both hooks in, he tried to get both hooks in fast instead of one at a time, and he fell off and ended up on bottom and eventually lost the round, right, because of that. But last fight against Padilla, like, how the fuck did they give this fight to Medeiros? Like, a draw? I mean, it was a travesty, an absolute travesty after watching that fight that they made that a draw. Even with a point taken, they gave that fucking fight a draw. So two of the judges thought Medeiros won 2 rounds in that fight. They got to be fucking nuts, you know? But the thing is, Mason Jones, like, is, to me, a better version than Chris Padilla, right? A guy that has better jiu-jitsu, better probably grappling overall than Padilla. And on the feet, I just think he offers more weapon, like more power. You know, I think Padilla is more of an arm puncher when he's punching. Mason Jones, the one thing I love about what he does is, you know, when you're in the clinch with this guy, he loves to throw that knee, man, to the head. He loves to throw it. He landed on an Axel Sola multiple times. He made that big-ass cut, but he does it in every fight. When you clinch up with him, he'll sneak that knee up to your face, man, and you won't even know it's coming, and bang, it lands. And I just feel like there's a lot of things Mason Jones can do here to Markel and mix up the wrestling. And the other thing with Markel Medeiros that I don't like is he just gives up his back every single fight that he gets taken down. I mean, he had his back taken 2 or 3 times against Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard actually in round 1 was this close to subbing him. Very, very close to subbing him with an RNC. Chowanowski on short notice almost got the sub. I believe it was in round 3 when he had one leg. He had literally one leg at that point because he had his leg chopped off by leg kicks, and he almost subbed him. It's just, you watch all of these fights, and it's consistent that if he gets taken down, he's going to give up his back to try to get up. And I think Mason Jones is, you know, I'm almost certain it's the best jiu-jitsu guy he's ever faced. And if he gives up his back to Mason Jones, I do think Mason Jones can sub him. And I think it comes later, though. I think it's rounds 2 and 3. I think Mason Jones is the type of guy that loves violence. He wants to put on a show. Axel Sola, that fight probably should have been stopped, man. But, you know, it didn't get stopped. He made it to the bell. He's a round 2-3 merchant. I mean, look at how many finishes he's had in rounds 2 and 3. A shit ton. And I know Medeiros has good cardio. I know he's at MMA Lab. But I feel like the mix-up of martial arts here, I think eventually gets him. And I'm going to go with 2-3 again here. I like a lot of 2-3s on this card, which is nuts. But it's 700, 900. I think I agree with Liam. I think it's going to be probably sub 2-3 here. Brady?
Yeah, looks like we're all going to agree. I'm going to go Jones sub as well, plus 600. And yeah, I mean, I can't personally lay this number on Mason Jones at minus 340 because he just doesn't have the greatest fight IQ. Like, I'll never forget the Jeremy Stevens fight where I had a bet on the sub. I got it at plus like 400, plus 420. And it's like, dude, take down Jeremy Stevens and sub him. Like, Jeremy Stevens even came out and said he literally hadn't trained his grappling in like years. And Mason Jones waited till like 20 seconds left in round 1. Instantly got to the back, instantly got into a dominant position. Same thing with round 2. And just that fight kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And it's like here against Medeiros, I do think there might be a hole in the ground game of Medeiros. We saw Austin Hubbard get really, really close to getting a submission in that fight. We saw Mark the Shark Chomsky getting into some dominant position at that point in that fight too. So yeah, Jones sub, it's probably a smash your TV bet of the week where you're yelling, Mason, for the love of God, grapple, Mason, grapple. But yeah, I think it's live. If he grapples, I think he can get to the back and maybe sink in that choke. So plus 600. I personally don't have a ton of success with Mason Jones fight. I like how you can go on Bet MMA and kind of look at your previous bets on fighters. I'm reverse swept on Mason Jones fight. So this one probably doesn't come through, but man, if he grapples, it's right there, Mason. It's right there, buddy. So we'll see.
Yeah. I agree with you guys. It is going to be right there if he grapples. And honestly, MMA guys are known for good defensive jiu-jitsu. Like they're good at it, but I think this guy's one of the weakest ones there, to be honest, just from what I've seen. And he's not been at MMA lab for very long. I think it's like maybe 2 years max. So all right, let's move on here. Next fight. It is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 15-5 Roman Dolidze versus the 21-4 Reinier de Ridder. De Ridder minus 400. Dolidze plus 300. I think it's me. I like de Ridder in this spot a lot. I mean, yeah, you're looking at the number. It's minus 400, and you're saying to yourself, oh, God, fucking Reinier de Ridder minus 400. You know, this guy has ugly striking. He gasses in some of his fights, blah, 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 you know. But for one, I think this 205 move is very, very good for him. I mean, this guy should not be fighting at 85. Let's put it out that way. And, you know, he even said how he got really sick and you know, it was a very, very bad sickness he talked about. The doctor said you cannot be doing this anymore. The other thing that I think was really stupid on his part is how often he fucking fought at 85 to cut weight like that, back to back to back in 25. This guy fought 4 times in 2025, and he's a massive dude that's cutting a shit amount of weight, and he kept, you know, cutting this weight and trying to fight, and I just think it was a huge mistake, you know, for him. You know, last time out, he had enough time, you know, and honestly, he didn't look bad against Caio. It's just that Caio was way too athletic, way too fast for him, much better striker. And Caio has good defensive grappling, you know, good jiu-jitsu, good defensive wrestling. So it gave him a very hard time. And, you know, he was competitive in that fight. It's not like Caio just absolutely blew him out of the water. And then you look at the other side, and it's Roman Dolidze, right? And we know why de Ridder moved up to 205. But why is Dolidze moving up to 205, right? And I think the only reason he's moving up to 205 is he's like, maybe I could prolong my career a little bit more at a different weight class, right? Because quite honestly, he's looked awful in his last 2 fights. The Anthony Hernandez fight, I mean, was a terrible, terrible look. I mean, gassed. He got put in a fucking dog collar. I don't even want to call that a choke. It was one of those dog collar chokes where you're just like pulling on the collar, trying to, you know, make your dog listen or whatever they do. And that's how he got fucking Dolidze. He's dragging him across the ring. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Dolidze just taps like that. It was a disgusting look. Leroy Duncan, he was getting his ass kicked, kept flopping to his back every second. You know, obviously, eventually Christian Leroy Duncan did Christian Leroy Duncan things in round 3 and tried to spin into something and got his back taken. But the one thing in this fight that sticks out to me more than all of other Roman Dolidze fights is that he cannot flop to his back in this fight. If he gets hurt or he gets, you know, in the clinch, gets hurt with an elbow or something happens, there's no longer you can flop to your back. You don't want Reinier de Ridder on top of you. Like, this guy is going to be like, okay, you want to flop to your back? I'm going to come right on top of you and smash you now, right? So I think that out that Dolidze had before is not there anymore. I think Dolidze can get destroyed in the clinch here as well, which is going to be bad for him. I just feel like Reinier de Ridder is going to find a finish here, man. I think Dolidze has been, in a lot of these fights, has been getting away with not getting finished. Imavov fight, like how many times he was close to getting finished and just kind of flopped to his back and did all these weird Imanari rolls for a fucking, or I'm sorry, rolling for a knee. Like, that's his thing. He loves when he's on the ground getting punished. Let me roll for a knee bar, right? I don't know how that's going to work out for him here against Reinier de Ridder, right? So I think the ITD here for de Ridder is value, in my opinion, at plus 150. I think de Ridder is going to finish this guy. And I think de Ridder is going to look good at actually 205, in my opinion. So cardio is going to look better, in my opinion. He's going to look better overall. And he's going to find a finish. Dolidze is going to get finished again because this guy's a weasel. He's doing all these, stupid things like it's a jiu-jitsu tournament where you flop to your back and like you're pulling guard. But hopefully De Ridder makes him regret it for pulling guard in MMA. Brady?
Yeah, I mean, we agree with everything here. I think it's a great spot for De Ridder, and I'm typically not a De Ridder guy. Like, I typically do look to maybe try to fade this guy, but at the end of the day, like you said, he's coming back up to light heavyweight. I think that's phenomenal. I think that's the right career move, a great career choice there for De Ridder. Whereas with Dolidze, I don't really understand why. I'm right there with you. I don't get it. I think if anything, it's going to massively favor De Ridder, who was killing himself to make weight. And quite frankly, I don't know how De Ridder made 185. So I think that's huge here. And it's just you got two guys who one guy still has it in De Ridder and one guy just doesn't. It looks like Dolidze's on his way out. It looked like Fluffy, completely took his soul, and Fluffy will do that. But yeah, one thing I don't like about Dolidze, and you mentioned it, this guy will pull guard. This guy will, play footsies down on the mat. And this guy has a 32% takedown defense. I mean, you can't play footsies with Reinier De Ridder. He's going to destroy you. I mean, this guy, De Ridder, his grappling's very, very good. This guy has 13 submission wins on his record. And I just think although Dolidze is a dangerous grappler, it hasn't really translated to the UFC. I think De Ridder, his grappling, especially MMA grappling, is just on a completely other level. So I think this fight's actually going to take place on the mat here. And I think De Ridder is going to do some very bad things to Roman on the ground. So I'm going to go with De Ridder. I'll just take him by sub plus 285. I think he can make Dolidze tap out once more. Dolidze, like you mentioned in our article, he tapped a little bit too quick there. I mean, and I think De Ridder is a very, very good submission grappler. So I think De Ridder and De Ridder by sub for me.
But I mean, the way he got, he was by the fence, gets put in a chokehold, and he literally stands him up and drags him halfway through the ring. It's like, I've never seen that before. It's embarrassing. Liam, what do you got here?
I have to say, I believe that Roman Dolidze was one of the most undervalued fighters in UFC history for a certain period of time. I bet on him against John Alon at minus 200, Laureano Staropoli at minus 145, Kevin Holland at plus 135, Marvin Vettori at plus 135. And by the way, I had an untracked play on him the night he got robbed against Vettori at plus 275. So when you look back, Dolidze is a guy that I felt got no credit for the fact that he was a dangerous striker and in his time. Not a guy who's very technical or good at anything, but he hits hard and he's a big man. So when he connected a knee to Kyle Dawkins' face, he broke him in half, right? Dolidze is a dangerous guy, but because he's starting to slow down and because he's kind of losing some of that, the thing that has always made him dangerous is his ability to dictate in the wrestling. That's how he beat Staropoli and all these guys. He just took him down. Should I submit them now? And then he can't do it, but he took him down anyway, right? So I feel like in this fight, the difference is RDR, in my opinion, is not only the better grappler, he's the more assertive wrestler of the pair. If you look at Roman Dolidze, you know what I fucking hated about that Fluffy fight? Laying on his back over and over again, allowing the guy to just easily take him down. And you know what Fluffy did? Let him stand back up because he knew he's going to get tired and I can take him down again for free. It's easy. I can take him down whenever I want. So in my opinion, the thing that I like in this fight is two angles. The first angle is Reinier De Ridder, 3, 4, and 5 takedowns, because I think that covers, if this fight gets extended, I think he can take down Dolidze over and over. I think Dolidze might stand back up to his feet, get tripped and mat returned. I think Dolidze, could clear out going for a knee bar. RDR goes, okay, stand back up, then throws a knee and then takes him down again. That for me is how you get to easy takedowns racking up. And then I think on the other side, it's the same thing that you guys mentioned. It's the sub prop. It's sub 2-3 for Reinier De Ridder. Listen, I have again, I just told you all the times I bet on Dolidze. I have a tremendous amount of respect. I had him against Fluffy that night at plus 275. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, it's over. It's so over. It's hard to describe. And when you look at this fight, I still have an open mind about RDR. I feel like he's put on a lot of impressive performances in the UFC. And then he also had some really big letdown spots. And the fights where he had letdown spots, I kind of felt like those were going to be the trickier matchups for him. And in this one, I feel like he's got the goods to avoid the leg locks. And that's what Roman Dolidze offers on the ground. His one real ground finish was against Jack Hermanson. And I don't think Jack Hermanson is as physically assertive as somebody like RDR. And I've said before, I'll say it again. One does not simply pass the guard of Andre Galvao. RDR did it. I think he can pass this guy's guard. I think he can finish him. So that's how I see it. I think RDR can rack up takedowns, get him tired, and when he's tired, I think he can finish, just like he did against GM3, who, by the way, is the king of the round 3 submission, who had more gas, who had more to give. It was RDR, and he took his soul too. Shout out to GM3, a legend.
All right, let's move on. Co-main event of the night. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 18-6 Sergey Spivak versus the 14-2 Vitor Petrino. Petrino is down to -145 with the comeback of +125 on Sergey Spivak. Brady, what do you got for us on the co-main here?
Yeah, my personal co-main's the last fight, because I do want to see DeRitter back up at light heavyweight, and I'm looking forward to that fight more. This fight, I don't know, man. This fight's kind of gross, man. Like, I don't want to bet on either one of these fools, to be honest. Like, Spivak, what made him was, the relentless grappling, like take you down, you get back up, take you back down. He doesn't do that anymore. He literally has 5 takedowns in his last 5 fights. I truly think that Spivak may have fallen in love with his hands, which, it's good that he's improving the striking. And quite frankly, it looks good. But at the end of the day, I've just seen him knocked out so many times. Like, I still don't trust the durability. And I think in this matchup specifically, it might be smart to maybe go back to that relentless grappling, make Petrino work. Like, went back and watched that Petrino fight versus, I think it was Thomas Peterson. And round 2, like, Petrino was just like walking around the octagon, hands on his hips. Like, I don't think this guy has the best cardio at heavyweight. So I actually think Spivak's a very live dog. The thing is, I think there is a chance he could get knocked out here. I think that's certainly on the table just because we've seen it like so many times. But I think minute for minute, like, the striking's probably close. Of course, Petrino has a lot more power, but, Spivak's striking, it's not half bad. The jab's really good. The volume's solid. Like, even the Waldo fight was very close. He outstruck Aaliyah at distance over 15. So I think Spivak, if he doesn't get knocked out, I think it's a very winnable fight. I think he can win minutes in the striking, and then the grappling's there. Take this guy down, make him work. So I was debating between like a Petrino early KO or like a Spivak decision, but I'll go Spivak decision. It's plus like 390, plus 400. If he doesn't get knocked out, I think that's very much on the table. I'm personally not betting this fight. Like I said, I can't lay chalk on Vitor Petrino. I'm still not sold on him as a heavyweight. And I kind of swore off betting Sergey Spivak fights ever again after that Cyril Gane disaster where he decided to strike with Cyril Gane until they got knocked out. So yeah, I'll go Spivak decision, plus 400. I think there's a solid path there.
All right, Liam, battle of the heavyweights.
Yeah, this is one I really just don't feel too great about. The simple breakdown for me is that I think it's Vitor Petrino by knockout or Sergey Spivak by submission. The reason I say that is because watching him get submitted by Anthony Smith in kind of comical fashion, it just suggested to me he got overwhelmed, right? He's a freak athlete. He's gotten away with stuff in light heavyweight in the grappling because he can just horse guys around and throw them every which way but loose. Think back to the Turkali fight. That was actually what opened my eyes to Petrino as a grappler, because Turkali, that's all he does is just try to push that grappling pace. And he tried to against Petrino, and the athletic cheat code worked over and over and over again. And Petrino just kept getting on top, kept horsing him around. And so the next time out, I started to look for Petrino sub angles, and then he was able to actually get it himself. I feel like Petrino likes to have a fight where he can dictate where the fight takes place. Against Peterson, he was able to shut down all his wrestling, all his takedowns, so he was able to keep it on the feet and eventually hurt him. And that's what Petrino is kind of good at, is deciding where the fight takes place. Against guys like Prachniow that aren't very good, take him to the ground. And then against guys that are a little bit more savvy on the ground, then, okay, let's shut down the ground game of them by being physical and then beat him up on the feet. So I feel like if he can keep Spivak up on the feet, even though Spivak is more technical than he is, I feel like he could probably just hit him with one bonk and kill him at some point, because that's how he's been winning fights in the heavyweight division. But I also feel like if it's a technical matchup where it comes down to who's more skilled and who does more things right, Sergey Spivak's been fighting the best heavyweights in the division for a long time. And that's why he's got a lot of losses on his record. When you fight the best heavyweights, you get knocked out sometimes and you get finished. But I also feel like Sergey Spivak's probably the best grappler he's fought in this division. And for that reason, I feel like at plus 600, he's probably live to win by sub.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I swear when I said, Brady go first and then you said it, and I was literally thinking before, I'm like, man, I just don't have a good read on this fight. I taped it and I taped it again, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know what's going to happen, because, on one hand, I think Spivak's the better striker. I'm pretty confident he's the better striker, like technically, right? I think he has a good jab. I think he's improved his striking quite a bit. Petrino's more about like winging big shots. Even his jab is ugly. Like, he's kind of ducking down and throwing a jab. He doesn't do it right. He's just not very skilled as a striker, like technically speaking, but he has huge power still at heavyweight. Obviously, man, this guy can crack, because he throws everything into every shot. That's the thing. And Spivak's chin, I mean, I don't know what to make of it, honestly, because yes, that Cyril Gane fight looked bad, and obviously he's been knocked out other times, by Tom Aspinall and stuff like that. But last fight against D'Elia, D'Elia landed a lot of big shots on him, and you could say whatever you want about D'Elia, but D'Elia, for one, has very, very fast hands for heavyweight, and he hits hard. He's got a lot of knockouts. People forget D'Elia can crack. I want to say he has 12, 13 knockouts, out of his wins. So he does have a lot of knockouts. He did land on Spivak. Spivak took him fairly well, and he answered him, so I don't know, man. I put down decision plus 390 for Spivak. I agree kind of with Liam. I didn't even think of the submission, because I'm like, how is he going to take Petrino down? Because Spivak's wrestling is kind of ugly. It's more body lock type of shit. And I feel like against a strong guy, it's going to be not easy to take Petrino down like that. But if he does get on top, right? Like you mentioned, that fight, I totally forgot about the Anthony Smith look. What a terrible look. I mean, how big of a favorite was he in that fight?
Minus 400. I remember it like it was yesterday. Disgusting.
Oh, Brady. Oh, disgusting. Yeah. I mean, there's not much else. I don't love this fight whatsoever. I'm not gonna have any bets on this fight, but let's move on. Main event of the night. And it is in the middleweight division. It is the 19-6 Gregory Rodrigues versus the 15-3 Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez, is it minus 220?
Crazy.
What the fuck's going on here? Oh, no, it's back down. Plus 211, plus 181 on Rodrigues. Liam, take us home.
Sure thing, man. Listen, I think if you guys have followed me for a long time, I put out a lot of content about Anthony Hernandez. He's my favorite grappler basically in the UFC. I love his style. He goes out there, makes people tired, makes them quit. That's what I believe in. I coach people to go out there and try and break people, make them quit, because it's easier than being better, right? Sometimes you don't have as many years of experience. You can't make up for that, but you can make people tired. You can make them quit. And I think that on the fluffy side, round 4, round 5, I feel like those are huge numbers here relative to what this fight will look like if it gets to round 4 and 5, which is typically when RoboCop starts to have cardiac arrest. Against Jared Cannonier, he had nothing left to give at that point. But I also have to note on the other side here, you have RoboCop to win and under 2.5 rounds at plus 310. I feel like that's pretty close to his money line here, and it's almost double the money line price. And when you look at how RoboCop fights, he hits like a truck. He comes forward with no regard for his own health and safety, and he's going to try and kill this guy. That's like the simple, no two ways about it. He's not going to try and engage in the grappling. He's going to try to stop Fluffy from getting to his positions and hurt him and knock him out. And I feel like that's how RoboCop wins fights. I feel like that's how Anthony loses fights. So at plus 310, I feel like that covers a lot of his win equity. And it's a pretty big number. So for me, that's a good way to get involved on either side in the main event. And I feel like RoboCop is definitely a live underdog here. With all respect to Anthony, I think his style is great, but against a guy who's very physically strong and comes from a wrestling and grappling background, it's not going to be easy to get to your takedown. So he needs to get him tired before all of his game starts to become functional here. And I feel like on the feet, I favor RoboCop in the early going because he hits like a truck and he takes damage like nobody's business. So yeah, that's just the way I see it. But awesome fight. And I really don't mind who wins here because these guys are both really fun contenders. So let's see them get a fun fight next.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is Anthony Hernandez against a guy like Rodrigues. There's first of all, you can never bet Anthony Hernandez minus 211 pre here. You should never ever bet him pre here because Anthony Hernandez drops a lot of round ones, man. He just does. And guess what? Gregory Rodrigues is exactly the opposite. He always wins round ones. He's only lost 2 round ones in his UFC career. One where he got knocked out, obviously, against Bruno Ferreira, and the other one was against Armin Petrosian. That is it. Every single other one he's won. He's either finished in round 1 or he won round 1. So it's like, why would you not take Gregory Rodrigues pre at plus 186? You're going to get a better line on Anthony Hernandez. And listen, Anthony Hernandez, he gets takedowns, whatever. He's not fucking getting a takedown early here against Gregory when he's fresh. Gregory Rodrigues is too strong, too big, and too good of a grappler when he's fresh early on. He's not going to get him down. And on the feet, Gregory Rodrigues is just a better striker. He's got way more power. He's going to throw those big leg kicks, those teeps, things that Anthony Hernandez kind of doesn't like, body kicks, stuff like that. And I think he wins round 1 at a very, very high clip here. And not to mention, right, by playing him here pre-flop, you get to fade like the Anthony Hernandez where he gets finished in round 1, because I think the probability of him getting finished in rounds 1 and 2 are way higher than him getting finished in 3, 4, 5, right, by Gregory Rodrigues. So I think that's one way of playing it, but there is no way I am not playing 3, 4, 5 on Anthony Hernandez in this fight. Like, there's just zero chance, because Rodrigues, just look at his frame, man. He cuts a lot of weight, man. That's one thing. He's got a ton of muscle on his body, and he's swinging for the fences in all of his fights. So if he doesn't get Anthony Hernandez out of there in the early rounds 1 and 2, I mean, I'm almost certain that Hernandez is going to finish him in these later rounds. Like, it's just going to happen where he's death gassed. He's going to go through the spin cycle that we call, and he's going to get finished. So I am going with that 3, 4, 5 here, 800, I think 1,200 and 1,600. I just feel like Anthony Hernandez is going to put him through the spin cycle. I agree with you. I think Rodrigues is very live to finish him here early, but I'm going to go with the latter and say Anthony Hernandez kind of whether I feel like there's going to be a spot where he gets hurt. Gregory Rodrigues kind of similar to Cannonier, right? Coming after him, doesn't finish the job, and oh shit, the tides are turning. I'm tired. So yeah, I'm going to go 3, 4, 5 fluffy here. Brady?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to break this one down. It's like RoboCop to win early or Fluffy to win late. And yeah, I mean, I think the line's kind of wild. Like you mentioned, if you like Fluffy, why not wait until maybe after the first round? Like, I'm pretty certain like Rodrigues should win the first round, if not like finish the fight in the first round. Like, Rodrigues goes to the body. It's not like he doesn't go to the body, with teep kicks, saw him land punches to the body. And I'm sure he's not an idiot. I'm sure he knows that, yeah, Hernandez has been hurt to the body on like 4 or 5 different occasions in the UFC. So yeah, I could see Rodrigues hurting him to the body, and it's not like he can't hurt him to the head as well. Like, Rodrigues is going to probably be one of the hardest hitters, if not the hardest hitter that Hernandez has fought ever in the UFC. So yeah, I think Rodrigues is live in that first round and a half maybe. But yeah, I mean, if Rodrigues does not get him out of there in the first 7.5 minutes, he's cooked. He's going to get cooked, and he's going to get finished more than likely in rounds 3, 4, or 5. So yeah, 3, 4, 5 fluffy makes sense. I'll be a little bit different. I'll just take Rodrigues round 1 plus 650. I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't have a couple moments early, if he didn't, land a big shot or two early. And I think that's kind of his path, is an early finish. So I'm looking to maybe live bet Fluffy after a round. But pre-flop, I'm going to take Rodrigues to win in round 1 at plus 650.
Yeah, big height advantage, too. I don't know if you guys saw the face-offs.
He's massive.
So much bigger than him. And you want to know one thing? I just checked it out right now. Are you saying that Rodrigues threw 28 significant strikes landed, 28 landed against Roman Kopylov to the body. So yes, he throws a lot to the body, whether it's teeps, kicks, punches. And yeah, I mean, if he doesn't know the assignment here to go to the body against Anthony Hernandez, like I kind of thought at one point, maybe this body thing is a little bit of a fluke, right? I'm like, maybe it reared its head came back with fucking Sean Strickland again to the body. Like I don't know what it is. Like this guy talks about a slipped rib, and I don't know if you guys heard him in his interviews. He said, "Oh, I had a slipped rib. I had this, I had that." But fuck, every fight you have a slipped rib. Like you're getting hurt in the body every fight. Anyways, yeah, that's it. All 13 fights. We can go to the Lambo Parlays. I don't know if you guys have one. If you don't, it's okay. It was a late call up here, so I will give a couple that I have. The first one is a low one. It's Douglas KO 1-2 with McVeigh round 1 with Rodrigues round 1-2. It's 21-1. And the other one would be a mix and match of Mason Jones and Fluffy Hernandez with 3-4-5. So Mason Jones 2-3, Fluffy Hernandez 3-4-5. Basically how I see, I think that main event is so binary to early Rodrigues, late Hernandez.
Yeah, I got one. Oh, I got two.
All right, go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. Last week I was very close, but Mansur pulled his pants down in the cage and took a big shit all over the cage there. So he ruined my KO Lambo. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to go Jackson McVeigh, Jackson McVeigh round 1 with Carly Giudice round 2, 17-1, and then Jackson McVeigh round 1 with Carly Giudice round 3 at 22-1. I think McVeigh probably gets him out of there early, and I think Giudice is very live to cook and finish late.
Oh, I like that one. That's a different one. I'm usually going 2-3s. Now you went with one for round 1 and then 2-3. I like it. Liam, do you have anything? If you don't, it's all good.
I'm gonna go with Schultz sub and RDR sub as the like baseline, and let's say I'm trying to think what my next favorite.
Subs, by the way, guys,
I'm a sub hunter. That is what I look for.
What's the other sub you want to add to this?
Man, it's disgusting, but I guess we'll say Sergey Spivak. That was the other one I think that I mentioned.
I don't think that's disgusting, honestly. I really don't.
So yeah, we'll go round robin on those sub props. Let's say for my Lambo plays.
All right, appreciate you guys. 2 hours, God, we've been going for long, but sorry about the internet issue and all that. I'm glad it came back eventually, but I appreciate both of these guys. I'm gonna give the floor to DFS by the numbers, Brady. Tell them where they can find you, stuff like that, socials, anything you want to say.
Yep, Twitter, DFS_numbers, YouTube, DFS by the numbers. Thank you, Narco, for having me on. I'm always down to come on short notice, no problem. Just not next week for UFC Shanghai, please. I mean, next week's it's so bad. I
can't wait to call you for us Friday night for UFC Shanghai when the card is at like 2 a.m.
It's so bad. Like I'm taping Ding Ming today. It's like, why am I taping Ding Ming? Why am I taping Ding Ming on a Friday night? I should be out with friends. I mean, having fun. Why am I taping Ding Ming? But yeah, Narco, anytime outside of next week.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining. Liam, floor is yours. Thank you for joining, my friend. Last second. Again, sorry to both of you.
No worries at all, my man. It's always a pleasure. I had a blast. I hope everybody in the chat had fun as well. God bless. Good luck. Enjoy the fights. If you're looking for more from me, you can find me everywhere at Liam Picks Fights. And that's all I got.
All right. I appreciate everybody. Please, guys, like, subscribe, comment. Go to these guys' YouTube channels. Also like, subscribe to them. They have great content as well. If you do want to get in my Discord, link is down below. $25 a month. I appreciate everybody for joining here. 529 live viewers. Good luck tomorrow. And let's cash those tickets for UFC Sacramento.